So in here we've got some new special versions of the Tissot PRX. Now the PRX is actually a watch I've never experienced before. Surprisingly, I know as a watch reviewer, you'd expect me to have. They're often considered a watch that kind of blurs the lines really between the affordable end of things and that entry-level luxury space. So I'm really excited to get my hands on these and take a look at them. Okay, so all three of these are review sample loaner units from Tissot, or should I say from Swatch. So they will be going back, and as such I can't comment on whether the packaging you receive will be the same as this. That might vary, but I've got three versions here in two different sizes. Let's take a look at them and you know, see what they're like. Really not sure what to expect with this one, whether I'm going to be underwhelmed or overwhelmed, if that's a word. Oh. I thought I'd been sent an empty package then. This one is one of the new 35mm PRX models. And this is quartz with mother of pearl dial. Now mother of pearl is a material I am somewhat coming around to at the moment. It's not my favourite. I typically prefer the darker coloured mother of pearl that you can get sometimes on watches like that San Martin I unboxed a few weeks back. This one I was just more curious rather than anything else. Let's have a look here. So this is the quartz version. I can't fully judge this compared to Christopher Ward already because that's the most similar watch that I've recently encountered. I can tell at least that this version, you know, isn't built quite as well, but it's pretty good looking, fairly simplistic. I'm more excited to see the other two if I'm honest, so it is nice and thin at least. Let's check out these other two. This one is one of the new mint green PRXs. This is the 40mm automatic. Now 40mm was the size that this watch is probably most popular in. It may have been the one it originally launched with. I can't remember if the smaller version was released alongside it. There we go. Now the handset is very flat. I will say that. I wasn't quite expecting that. Oh, this is quartz. Well, that isn't the one I requested. I requested to take a look at the automatic just to try and get a better point of reference, so which isn't a huge problem, but otherwise it feels quite similar to the 35mm. It's got this vertically engraved wood effect finish going on, which I'm not sure fully we'll be able to come across on camera. Let's get really zoomed in. Yeah, it doesn't quite come across accurately on camera. It is quite minor. There you go, you can see it a little bit there. Now, is this a colour I would personally buy? Probably not. I'd probably go with one of the other ones, but it was kind of the only one they offered up for me to take a look at, so need this as a good point of reference for me as a watch reviewer. Bracelet feels decent. The clasp is quite similar to the one on the more expensive Christopher Ward, and that is also interesting. Now, I looked at this watch online and figured that because it had what looked like a female end link where it goes inwards, that it would be a little bit more conforming than some of the other watches with integrated bracelets where it comes outward like a male link. But that isn't really the case because the next one along is pretty much fixed in position, meaning that the lug to lug is consequently effectively longer. Let's try the final one. Let's see if we've got this one right. I'm hoping for an auto here. So this one is the correct one this time. This one's the 35mm automatic version in the new mint green colour. Now, unlike the 40mm version that I just looked at, this one has the waffle dial that was proven particularly popular with the PRX. And by the way, before I forget, Tissot said, well, they didn't say anything, you know, about what I can say in the video, so that's great. This one's got the Powermatic 80 movement, which is visible through the case rear. Just seeing if it has a screw down crown. It does not. There's your look at Powermatic 80. I wanted to take a look at some of these 35mm watches to really see if they were too small, to see if on a slim male wrist like mine, if you could get away with this effectively. Because typically for me, about 36mm to 38mm is the sweet spot, and Tissot doesn't currently offer a watch in that sort of size, at least not a PRX. Let's get it next to the quartz. Now, I will say that, at least in the hands, the added weight of the automatic makes it feel a lot better. And I love the extra level of detailing on the dial. I think that really helps. Makes it look like a much higher quality watch than the mother of pearl one. In terms of thickness, it is slightly thicker, but there really isn't a great deal between it. We'll do measurements in a second. But yeah, first impressions, I like this one. This one's mediocre. This one, it's okay at best. I certainly don't think that the dial looks super high quality, so I probably would steer away from that one. So here's the mother of pearl one close up. Here's the 40mm in quartz in mint green. And here's the 35mm automatic. I've just shown this to my wife and she agrees with me that this one definitely looks like comfortably the best watch of the three. Not even close. Somewhat of a sunburst even across the textured surface. So the quartz, first of all, says 35mm online. Now I'm getting that as actually 34 point something, 34.8. Lug to lug is a bit misleading. We'll go for the effective lug to lug there from those solid second links. Just shy of 45, so not the shortest. Thickness of 9.7, so relatively slim. There is a slightly raised crystal. I'm not sure you can see that there. But this crystal, which is surely sapphire, is fractionally raised out of the bezel. 40mm version. Now this is the quartz one. 39.9 across. Effective lug to lug. About 51.5. So fairly long actually. And a thickness of 10.7. So it is a little bit chunkier. And now the one I'm personally most interested in. The 35 automatic. Again, yeah, it is 34.7, about the same as the quartz. Lug to lug will surely be the same as well. Yeah, 44. It is a little bit stubby. 11.3. Again with a raised crystal like the other two. So here's the 35mm quartz on my 6 1/4 inch wrist, and I think I could probably get away with that actually. The camera on my videos always makes the watches look a little bit bigger on my wrist than they do to the naked eye. In person, this is, in my opinion, right on the cusp of what I could get away with. Thickness is nice. It wears quite nicely as well. For an integrated bracelet watch, this version at least doesn't have any gaping holes there for me. I just think that there are other options that can give you a very similar vibe for quite considerably less money. Now the price that they've given me here for this one is $375, so I'm assuming it's retailing for that, which is slightly more than some of the non-mother of pearl versions, if you like. It's funny, you know, this 40mm watch, in person, it looks and wears bigger. It feels like I'm holding like a 41.5, 42mm watch here, really. I didn't expect it to fit, so I'm just here out of curiosity more than anything else. It's definitely too big for my wrist. But yeah, let's have a look at the one I'm most excited about. Now, these are both listed as mint green, I believe, but in reality they are slightly different tones, as you can see here. Now, me personally, I prefer the deeper tone of this one. It looks less like that Tiffany blue, more like, you know, real mint green. And I was also a little bit hesitant about the waffle dial on watches like this. I thought maybe it would end up looking a bit too much like an AP homage, but no, after having looked at these three, I do think the waffle is the way to go, regardless of what size or colour you like. Definitely looks like a much more expensive piece than the others. And the weight with the automatic, it just kind of helps with that too. It's funny, you know, on wrist, this one looks a tiny bit smaller than the other 35mm. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the added thickness, it makes it look a little bit more stubby or something. But I could probably, again, just about get away with this, but it's very much on the cusp. Now, this one's currently retailing for £640, according to the documentation they've provided here. I'll probably do a dedicated review at some point on these PRX models and let you know what I think. First impressions of this one are really good. The other two, much more mixed, I'd say. I'll affiliate link all of these three in the video description if they're available yet on the Tissot site. Let me know what you think in the comment section.